Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trawled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son Thomas.
Hi, hello.
To up to be you. What? You.
May the 5th be with you, as this is going out.
Coming out it will tomorrow.
Yeah, so may the 5th be with you, listener. So, such a meaningful date that tomorrow, when this goes out, is. Yep.
So, been up to, what have you?
Yeah, so a few hours after we finished up recording last week, the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe came out, and I bought it at its full $35 Australian price, because I wanted it on Xbox. I could have got a discount on Steam, because I already own the original on Steam.
Okay, yep.
Some mild buyer's remorse. There was definitely more new than old in it.
Right.
I don't know if it was worth it for me personally.
Right.
Worth the full 35.
The other kids in the family seem to think so.
Well, they hadn't played the original, had they?
Well and truly worth it for them.
Yeah.
They have certainly been getting your money's worth out of it.
They sure have. So that happened.
So you've got all the way through it?
I have got what I am going to get out of it. Right. I am not going to play it for the entirety of a Tuesday, because that would take up the Xbox for the entirety of a Tuesday.
Or there is a bonus if you play it for
There is an achievement, I believe called Dedication. Play the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe for the entirety of a Tuesday.
It has to be a Tuesday. Then.
Yeah, it has to be a Tuesday.
Right.
And the other achievement that I won't get because I can't yet, not by legitimate means anyway, is Super Go Outside, which is a sequel to the achievement Go Outside from the original game. In the original game, you needed to not play it for 5 years. Super Go Outside, 10 years. So
right. Okay.
So
is this why you have stopped? Just to start that 10 years?
So if I play the game any time between now, Wednesday the 4th of May, 2022, and the same date 10 years from now, the timer will reset.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that guaranteeing the lifespan of this game?
Well, the original came out 9 years ago, this year, and
did you get the bonus for that?
Yes, I did. I wasn't expecting to. I thought it had been a little sooner since I'd last played it, but I did get the achievement a few weeks back.
Good upon you.
Yeah. Good.
Anything else you've been up to?
No, just staring at bad news.
Yeah. Let's not talk about. It just keeps on keeping on, the old bad news. And yes, I've been doom scrolling for most of the day, most of yesterday, day before. Got some doom scrolling in. I think the day before that.
Yep.
Must stop doing that. Which is why I dragged the computer out and played a depressing game. I bit the bullet and I got out some hints and completed the vanishing of Ethan Carter. Yeah, and my opinion is still much the same. It's visually wonderful and the mood is incredible and the vistas are great, but there is some really the leaps of logic and the leaps of, if you pat your tummy and rub your head at precisely the right moment, then something will be revealed to you. But you're not told that that's what you need to do. Yes. So, but it is complete, and I'm still... I have to actually try and find not a playthrough, but a plot synopsis.
Yeah.
Just because it really wasn't particularly linear, the story didn't join up for me enough, and I guess the time since last playing it, I'd lost the plot. But I'd lost the plot anyway at the beginning, because I went back and actually found the bits that I should have found in the beginning that semi-explained, but not really. It was quite a disappointment. I thought, right, this is going to give me some idea as to what is actually going on, and nah, not so much. So, that's it for me. I did a bit of walking, and my legs hurt now. Anyway, we shall move on and watch film.
Yes, let's.
You picked the film this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my reservations.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I've only seen it once, and that was at the cinema.
Right.
I don't know whether I've seen it a second time. I can't remember, or maybe I didn't see it at the cinema. I don't know. I've got some little snippets of lines that I remember from it, but yes, it is a musical we're watching.
It is.
What is it?
So, back in 2004, the Jim Henson Company sold their most famous product, the Muppets, to the Walt Disney Company, which then formed what was then the Muppets Holding Company, and later became the Muppets Studio. And they didn't really do a whole lot with the property for 6 or 7 years.
They very much sat on it. Yes.
And then, in 2011, a film called The Muppets was released. Not to be confused with the Muppet movie, which came some decades earlier. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're watching. We
are watching The Muppets. What is the plot synopsis for? you could read the one that Disney Plus provides us, which is a one-sentence plot synopsis. Or you could be more thorough. But is it going to tell us any more?
That's a great question, and I wasn't actually prepared to read the longer one.
Okay,
but
well, you can read the shorter one.
I'm working on it.
You read the longer one last week.
I did read the longer one last week.
They could wind back. Our dear listener could re-listen to, or not.
In the time we've been discussing this, I have pulled up the one from the back of the disc case.
Okay.
For starters, the one in the database is missing the whole first paragraph of the back of the case, which is okay, because that first paragraph is entirely self-congratulatory.
Uh-huh.
And just look at these people who won or were nominated for many Academy Awards. So very, very helpful.
Read the plot synopsis already.
Yes.
I can hear our dear listener screaming at us. Get on with it. Roll the tape.
I'd love to. Shush.
It's terrible. It's awful. We love it.
While on vacation in Los Angeles, Walter, the world's biggest Muppet fan, his brother Gary, and friend Mary uncover the diabolical plot of a greedy oil millionaire to destroy the Muppet Theatre. Now, the Muppet-loving trio must reunite Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, and their friends to stage the greatest Muppet telethon ever and save their beloved theatre. The gang is back together again in the must-own movie full of irresistible music and family fun.
Or you could have the Disney Plus plot synopsis of the Muppets' biggest fan reunites the gang to save their beloved theatre. And that's it.
Very, very descriptive.
Well, really, it didn't tell us much more.
No?
It just didn't name drop quite as much. Anyway, that's what we're watching.
We are.
As you can tell, we're watching it on Disney Plus, so there's not going to be any flipping and turning to side Bs, because there is no disc.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to press the play button, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B. That's the flip side.
Mongrel.
I've explained this before.
Oh, stop. Just stop already. So, what did you think?
It's a bit of a mixed bag for me, actually. There's a lot of this film that has a lot of heart put into it, and then there are others where I just don't see it.
No, it very much dips. That being said, and I think my dear listeners have all been waiting for me to say that being said, because I think I say it in every episode.
Every review needs a mid-review turnaround.
That being said, I was just thinking during the intermission that I love the Muppet movie. And just absolutely adore it. Even though every time I watch it, there are dead spots in it that I suddenly realise, oh, there's a dead spot in it. But I go back to loving it. Within a few years after that, you had The Great Muppet Caper, you had Muppets Take Manhattan, you had, I think there was another one. See, this is the thing. I don't remember much of any of those, because I think they're pretty average.
Well, after that, it's Christmas Carol and Treasure Island, and then Muppets from Space.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
And that resurgent after quite a long period of time, and also after Jim Henson passed away, there was a brief resurgence, and then it all sort of quashed down again. But those early movies after the Muppet movie, I know that I went to the cinema to watch them, and got a chuckle out of them, but they weren't memorable. And I think it was because, at their best, I think, is when they're doing the variety acts. So today's movie really picked up once they got into the theatre, and they did a couple of variety acts. It was, whereas in the movies, it's sight gags after sight gags, and some of those nail it, and others, it's really hit and miss. As far as what works and what doesn't. And I think in this, it's about 50-50, which I think was the case with the earlier movies after the Muppet movie. In fact, it could have been the case with the Muppet movie. I think I view that with very rose-tinted glasses. But I think they also tended to use their famous actor cameos a lot better than this did.
There are some cameos in this film that aren't even bit parts. They're just cameos.
Yeah. And it's a really, really weird mix of famous faces. One of the very early ones was Mickey Rooney, who nobody really under my age, and even that stretching, would recognise Mickey Rooney. His acting days were pretty much over as I was growing up, because he was old. He's still old. I think he may have...
Mickey Rooney was an American actor.
Right.
Died in 2014.
Right, and this was 2011, this film? Okay. But there were faces that I recognised that I couldn't put names to. I just knew that they were possibly famous. But that being said, I still can't remember the names of the two main human characters.
That's Gary and Mary.
Yes, all right. Sorry, is that their acting names or their...
No, those are the characters in the film. The characters in the film are called Gary and Mary.
And then you've got Walter, who's the Muppet. I think the thing that saved this whole movie for me was, in fact, the song, Am I a Muppet or a Man? It's a gem, I think. And the way that it was filmed, you suddenly get this increase of attention to detail that highlights the variability in the film. That was a highlight and amongst various lowlights.
The song before that is Me Party, which is a completely disposable song.
Yeah. yet the opening and closing dance money shots with all of the humans dancing. I mean, it was straight out of a whole heap of movies, but the one that jumped out at me was one that we mentioned last week, and that was Enchanted.
Very, very Enchanted.
Very, very Enchanted. It just absolutely reeked of it. I reckon there were dancers in this that were also in Enchanted. It was just plucked from that, but still done well and fit the scene.
I don't know. I don't think that number works for me. It's
There's too many humans. For a film that's about the Muppets, there is just so many human scenes in it.
There are some times when humans are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
The animal joke, where the drummer of the Muppets it's just Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
That's a good joke. Any executives have to be humans.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to do that. Otherwise, I mean, the villain, yeah, villain can be a human. Do you need anyone else?
Yeah. So the dance scenes just amplify that overabundance of...
Those few human elements are so important to Christmas Carol and Treasure Island.
Yeah.
But not here.
No. And in those two that you just mentioned, there's not an overabundance of them.
You have one or two confused leads in a very strange world.
Yep. In a very strange world where there are, in the background, there are some humans, but predominantly still Muppets. Muppets as background characters are a big thing in both Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island. They have the smattering of humans who deliver some classic lines, but they're in amongst this world that is naturally populated by a mix of. But in this, you've got this core group of Muppets, the Muppets,
and some
Walter,
Muppets over there.
and some Muppets, and then everyone else is humans.
Yeah.
Which makes it interesting, because when you've got Muppets, this extends to rotting fruit in fridges that talk. And I felt guilty that there was a singing chocolate cake, and it looked so yummy that I got hungry. Even though it was singing with a mouth, the split between the cake. It did have some great pointing at cliches where you got travelling by map.
Yeah.
And the car has a button that travel by map, and then you've got the movement over the map overlaid with...
montage?
Well, possibly, but there was also another montage where they're collecting the team.
It's just more montage.
More montage, but travelling by map.
There's a bit of montage in this film.
Oh, how are we going to get the rest of the team? We'll do it by montage.
Yeah.
That was clever, but other bits just felt forced. I would have loved to have seen more of the Phantom. What's his name? You know who I mean. Anyway, the repertoire between him and the bear was just wonderful.
Uncle Deadly.
Uncle Deadly. Deadly with the English accent.
Yeah. Uncle Deadly and Bobo the bear.
Yes. You mentioned right at the beginning, before we started watching the film, that it had been like 7 years after Disney obtained the Muppets before they made a movie. And in the movie itself, they make mention of, that they've forgotten about us. It felt almost as if this is why Disney have held off making a film, just so they can make the reference that everyone has forgotten about them.
I should say, they did do one television film shortly after the acquisition, The Muppets Wizard of Oz, an utterly forgettable...
dear, that was rubbish.
Utterly forgettable
rubbish.
Adaptation. Does not rise to anywhere near the levels of the classic adaptations.
Do you have anything else there?
There's some very good gags in there. Even if gags aren't quite what you're looking for, just those quick bit gags in a Muppet movie. The gospel choir on a bus rolling by as Kermit arrives. Laughter,
the heavenly choir.
Laughter being the third greatest gift.
Which is par for the course, but is it as sharp as Turn Left at the Fork in the Road type of deal?
No. Gonzo
Yes?
blew up his very expensive plumbing business,
He did.
which was probably making many millions of dollars.
Hang on, are you trying to make this make sense?
I am trying to make sense of this decision by Gonzo to not just contribute some money from his business.
But see, even there, going back, he was surrounded by humans.
Yeah.
He was the only Muppet in that spot. Before, there would have been Muppets absolutely everywhere with humans mixed in between. Sorry, I'm treading on old ground here.
No, I think in those cases when we're going around to get everyone, just having the one Muppet there is the joke.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know that it's a good enough joke, but it is the joke.
Yeah.
An oil rig in the middle of Los Angeles, that's Tex Retchman's plan.
Yes, that's capitalism for you.
Yeah. Don't forget Cars 2 in cinemas now, which is the worst Cars movie, to be clear.
Cars 2, was that where...
That was Mater becomes mistaken for a spy.
That was really bad.
Is the focus of the film for reasons that...
Sorry, where did it make reference to that?
There was a big Cars 2 poster, right next to the Muppet Theatre.
Okay. I missed that, but I did see the Mickey Mouse in the fireworks, the head and the two ears. I wasn't imagining that, was I? No.
We poke fun at network television, and we explicitly name Fox and NBC and Univision. But when it comes time to bite the hand that feeds you, the Walt Disney Company, and therefore ABC, you chickened out.
Yeah.
You went with CDE. And they do the punch teacher bit, which is poking fun at bad television content that exists now and is still bad.
Yeah.
It's sort of half a jukebox musical.
Yes. Yeah, it's got some originals, but it's also got a large smattering of...
There's a classic, there's Rainbow Connection. Is there anything else from the past? And what is going on with that Tex Richmond rap number? There is more to that song on the soundtrack, but it ends after a verse and a chorus in the film.
But then they also rebuilt this city on rock and roll. They're grabbing from everywhere.
Yeah.
And to the expense of... Paul Williams wrote a lot of lyrical music for the Muppets throughout a long period of time. And... I don't know, maybe it was a good nod to him, but it was trashed a bit with Fozzie in his sleazy casino performance. And there was some good original music, and I think that whoever came out with that could have done more. So, I don't know. I sound like I'm hating on this film, and it's not necessarily a hate on, but it was a film. It was better than Muppets Haunted Mansion.
No, it's not good, is it?
Not that I remember.
Oh. President Carter moved.
Yes.
From the White House. Presumably from this 80s Rolodex of celebrities.
You're not going to quote all the gags.
No, I'm not.
Are you? Good. Okay.
No, there's a bunch of good gags I didn't write down.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else other than quoting gags?
No.
All right.
No.
Good. We shall...
Sorry. Giving Walter teeth at the start. and I noticed Laura was in here watching with us. Legs. Giving Walter legs. They cringed at.
Right. Okay.
Giving Muppets weird features.
Yeah.
Or stuff below the waist.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
It is. It is. And the Muppet movie was one of the first to do that, with Kermit riding the bike, which was amazing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Very impressive and still holds up very well. But, yeah, Walter had a great deal of variability where, yes, he was given letters, but there's another scene where the camera's facing him and he's running. It just
in the opening number, he gets literally kicked off, so that a big human dance number can happen without having to show him with legs.
It lacked the constant smartness of a lot of the, as far as how to get puppeteers to operate in places where it must have been really awkward, but they did it. They seemed very lazy in this.
Some of the compositing, sometimes. Walter hits the electric fence, and you can see that he's not actually up against it.
Yeah.
The big shot of all the Muppets in the foyer of the Muppet Theatre, I could see the edges.
Yeah.
It's not a bad film. I don't want anyone listening to this to come away thinking that I think it's a bad film.
No, and I'm the same. I would say more times than not, I had a smile on my face watching this film. And dare I use the cliche, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's a piece of fish.
It's a piece of fish.
Yes, it is. It could have been better.
Yeah. Do you know what the budget was?
Okay, so it was budgeted at 45 million. It made 165.2 million.
Wow.
Which is partly because it was released at American Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
The next film, The Muppets Most Wanted, was not released at Thanksgiving and did not do so well. It's also not as good a film.
No, my
and that's
recollection is it is not.
Partly because it has Ricky Gervais in it.
Yeah.
And he just eats up half of it.
Yes.
But
he does tend to do that. But wow, that budget shows.
They
were really, really hedging their bets, I think.
The second film, budget 50 million, made just 80.4.
That's not enough.
It's not, no.
No, which is why we ended up with straight-to-video Muppets Haunted Mansion.
The year after that, I think, we got the Muppets sitcom, which ran for a season and didn't rate well, so it got cancelled. And now they're doing stuff for Disney Plus every now and then, which is of variable quality, I'm told.
Yeah, well, I've watched a bit of the stuff that they were doing during COVID, where they were sort of dialing in their acts, and in places it really felt phoned in.
I would not want to be in a puppet ensemble act during COVID.
No. Anyway, do you have anything else you wish to say about this film?
No, I think I'm done.
We shall move on then.
Yes. The following segment needs a little more time in the oven. It's done now. We have had 2 whole guesses as to last week's file name.
Which is interesting. I have to break some news to you. There won't be any guessing for next week because I am actually recording over last week's file. I have failed miserably here. Even though I delete last week's file normally and create a new file and give it a name, this week for some reason I forgot to do all that and started record and have recorded over last week's episode. So
first of all, Dunkel has written in and said that she thinks that last week's file name was Nikita, which it was not.
No.
It was not Nikita.
Just a reminder, last week's episode was Little Nikita. That was a great guess, and if I gave it any thought, that's probably what I should have called it.
Yeah. After finishing up recording last week, I gave you all sorts of things that it could have been and wasn't.
Yep.
Dunkel also writes in to say that this guessing game is like Wordle, but you start from the middle and can't trust anything you know about English.
No, that's right. It's fun for people whose first language isn't English, and it's fun for people whose first language is English. You've got about as much chance. Either way.
Also writing in
Yes.
this week, Entuosferatu.
Hi, Entuosferatu.
Regular writer in.
Yes.
Thanks us for the excellent video game movie discussion. And his file name guess, less obvious, Little Nkut, spelt LTLNKT.
That was actually closer.
Okay.
A lot closer. But not correct either.
No.
So what I went for was LILNIK. LLNKTA. Lil Nikita.
What I immediately suggested was Lil, as in Lil, and then I think I said probably NKT as well. But that's not what you went with.
No. So thank you all for putting in your guesses. And a reminder again, next week there is no competition because unless you guess LLNKTA, because that's what this week's file name is as well.
Entuosferatu also writes in to say that he knew the exact movie we would be watching this week the moment that I said the actors and the year of release.
Yeah, whatever. It was funny watching it because the face of the male character,
Jason Segel, I did actually recognise, but I do not know whether I could have traced my memories back to what was the TV show? Nerds and Dweebs? No. Jocks and Freaks and Geeks. Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and
there
Geeks.
we go.
Which I'd probably watched about a year ago. So yeah, I don't think I could have traced it back to that because he has grown up quite a bit since that. That being said, his facial features haven't changed all that much. He's just got bigger. Yeah, but yeah, all right, rub it in Entuosferatu.
Meanwhile, Helen has been absolutely rocketing through our back catalogue.
Yes, has been rocketing. I would like to point out, she does make a comment about Furelise by Beethoven being used in Running on Empty. I wish to pull her up on that. In fact, it was Fantasy in C minor, K475 by Mozart that River Phoenix used as his
recital?
For his recital for entry into Juilliard.
Or audition or something.
Yes. Yes, so it wasn't Furelise. He never plays Furelise. And
Amazing Spider-Man. Doesn't think she's seen any of the contemporary films.
Yeah.
Which there are a few of.
And makes mention of where she's heard the song from. I used to watch the cartoon in the afternoons after school, so that would probably be where from. That
would probably do it. Helen has finally identified the mystery quote in the description of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Which was, in fact, from Danger Mouse.
It was from Danger Mouse.
And I had to correct before it went out, because the one that's on wherever you found the quote is mistranscribed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which is not on you. It's on whoever mistranscribed it in the first place. But
Then we get to the guesses. Helen also guessed, finally, the competition, the grand competition for which Peter Weir films are on the shelf. Other than we mentioned Picnic at Hanging Rock and The Way Back, which we have watched both of those for our podcasts. She guessed Gallipoli, Dead Poets Society, and Master and Commander.
Well,
she gets 2 points.
Yeah.
Indeed, Master and Commander is on the shelf, and Dead Poets Society is on twice.
It is, yes.
Because one's Blu-ray and the other one's a DVD with some special features that I haven't determined whether they're on the Blu-ray or not. And she guess Gallipoli. Gallipoli is, in fact, not on the shelf. So what was the third one?
Let's finally pay off
We
this
will pay this off.
months old.
It was, in fact, Witness, which stars Harrison Ford, who Peter Weir goes on to use later on with another film that may make a mention later on.
Right.
Yes, so, sorry, that's what I drew from Helen's many walks in the last couple of days, where she's caught up and made comments on numerous episodes.
And
was
she's
there any
now,
other
I believe, at the end of March.
Wow.
Which is not that long ago.
Not that.
It's a month ago.
No, and she will soon get to the place where we give her grief. So we've got a little while to go before we have to go into hiding.
Batten down the hatches.
Yes, that's right. Any other comments from anyone else?
I think that might
that
be it.
might be
that
Wow.
bumper crop of
That was a
comments.
big bumper crop. So, if there's nothing else,
No.
we shall move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
It is your turn.
It is my turn.
And I have a sneaking suspicion what you might have selected.
Okay, so way back in the dim, dark reaches of time where we watched a Peter Weir film that happened to be The Truman Show, we had that competition, and finally someone both answered the questions and actually reminded me what the competition actually was. Between then and now, another Peter Weir film has appeared on our shelves.
It has.
And it's another Peter Weir film that stars Harrison Ford.
It does.
It does. I know what it is. You know what it is.
You know who else it stars? It also stars
Stars
River
River
Phoenix.
So a double whammy. And it also stars...
Helen Mirren.
Go a bit further.
I have to go below here. Also
You
stars...
shouldn't have to go too far down.
Conrad Roberts, Andre Gregory, Martha Plimpton.
Thank you, Martha Plimpton, who River Phoenix starred with in Running on Empty.
Right.
The love interest.
Okay.
So they, in fact, I believe, formed a relationship during the filming of Mosquito Coast. Because Mosquito Coast came
That timing
before
sounds right.
Running on Empty. So there we go.
It's Mosquito Coast. We're watching the Mosquito Coast.
Oh, did I mention Mosquito Coast?
Just now, yes.
We're watching Mosquito Coast next week. Thomas, do you have a plot synopsis handy for that film?
I do. It's right in front of me.
Oh,
Nothing's
well, I shall read it then.
Stopping me.
Would you be so kind as to tell our dear listener what Mosquito Coast is all about?
Ali Fox is fed up with an America that buys junk, sells junk, eats junk. So, with a mocking "Goodbye America, have a nice day," the brilliant inventor, 9 patents, 6 pending, leads his trusting wife and 4 children into the remote jungles of Central America to carve out a new society. After teaming on Witness, Harrison Ford and director Peter Weir reunite for this adventure about utopia gone haywire. A movie icon for Star Wars' Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Not in Star Wars. To be clear. Ford here explores the dark side of heroism. No, that's Darth Vader.
Sorry.
That's several different actors at various times. And creates a spellbinding character from the pages of Paul Theroux's bestseller. Helen Mirren, Martha Plimpton, and the late River Phoenix co-star.
That's what we're watching. I ordered that again secondhand just to stretch out this whole weird Kevin Bacon-esque 7 degrees of...
And it arrived a month ago and confused me when it came to selecting whatever film it was a few weeks ago.
Yes, you did get confused. What was it?
Hold on. Let me turn off the filters. Right, yes.
It was...
Mosquito Coast arrived, and then a little later, Little Nikita arrived.
Yes.
And provided much confusion.
It did. It did, because they both starred River Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Very helpful of you.
Are you confused?
No, I know exactly what we're watching next week. And
I'm
hopefully,
confused.
hopefully our dear listener also understands what we're watching next week, I couldn't care less if you understand what we're watching next week, because it won't matter until next week, will it?
So next week, we are watching something
Yes.
with mosquitoes in it.
Probably.
But until then, we hope that you can join us. But until then, we hope that you can join us. I'm stuck in a loop. Oh, this hasn't happened for a while. Gee, we hope that you'll catch you next time.
Bye?
I don't know.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
I got my line right. Well, no, I stumbled over my line. My line is a whole one word, but I still stumbled over it.
Oh dear. Parts of me are passing out here.
Yeah, I'm getting that too now. Only just now.
Oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
Which is...
I need a stiff sarsaparilla.
Then go make yourself a stiff sarsaparilla.
Abracadabra, you're a sarsaparilla. 1 2 1 2
7654321 7654321.
That number again.
7654321.
Our operators are standing by for your call. Actually, it should have started with 555.
Yeah, probably.